G'day and welcome to the show. Salt Covers here, and we finally did it. As you can see in the top right hand corner of my screen, we are finally back in the green since recording YouTube videos. As you can see, the screenshot in the middle of my screen, that was from 2 weeks ago. That was the lowest point we got to as of recording YouTube videos. Funnily enough, it was like the first day that we didn't record. Been doing this for about almost a month. And yeah, look how down bad we were. We were down almost 30 units 2 weeks ago. The one day I don't do a show. Now, finally back in the green. Look at that March as well. We are up over 30 units in March. Let's just have a look at one more thing.
One pair of pants later.
We are 60% against the spread in March. Love to see that. We've been on fire. Let's have a little recap of the day from yesterday. Oh no, one more thing I wanted to say. No, a few more things. So firstly, we are 5 subscribers away from 50. Please, if you're watching these videos, you want to support me, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like, comment, follow me on Twitter as well, at Soul Covers. We also had some great comments on the video from before. These are what I love to see. So shout out to you guys, IC Feed people, letting me know that he was tailing. He, they, probably a he, but yeah, let me know he's tailing me on the Hawks and Hornets under 237. We got some great closing line value on that game. That bet cash. Love to see that. What I really liked about the second comment is like actually giving me some constructive feedback about how I can improve the show. That's what I really need. We've been doing this for less than a month. This is my first time ever recording YouTube videos. I do have some experience in the streaming world. I used to stream a lot of NBA 2K about 2 years ago or so it's not my first time being in front of a microphone, but still very new to this. And yeah, he let me know that he can't hear me. I assume he wants me to turn the audio up a bit, so that's what I've done, and that sort of feedback is really important to me. Don't feel like an arsehole, trust me, I really appreciate it. Love to see those comments. Let's have a look at our recap. So, 3-1 night last night. Great night last night, up for 6 units. As I said, we cashed the Hawks Hornets under 237. Now that game closed at 231. LaMelo Ball did get ruled out late that day, so that injury news certainly broke our way. That game finished at 236, so got that one, won that by a point. Love to see that. We've certainly been on the wrong side of that before, so we will take that. Now we bet the Warriors -3 early while they were still playing against the Nuggets. My thinking there was, look, this is shaping up to be an amazing bounce back spot for the Warriors. Here they are, halfway through the fourth quarter, down by 15 against the Nuggets without Jokic. Like, this is just a perfect bounce back spot. I love fading the Bucks against good teams. They are now 3-17 straight up against top 10 teams in net rating. They are not much better against the spread either. This team just cannot beat good teams, especially on the road. After that game, the Kerr press conference, he says Curry might rest. That spread goes out to Milwaukee -3. Then as the day progresses, Warriors money just slowly but surely starts trickling in. Even though Curry gets ruled out, the spread doesn't really move any more towards Milwaukee. Spread just keeps nudging back towards the Warriors, and then like about 5-10 minutes before tip-off, we see Circa, probably the sharpest book, if not one of them. They moved from Bucks -2, they moved it to a pick-up. Somebody went in and laid down a huge amount of money on the Warriors that game. Most books closed at around Bucks -2, -1.5. We saw Circa go back to Bucks -1 just before tip-off, but we come out of that game with a winner somehow, even though we walked into that game with a bad ticket. Love to see that. We also backed the Clippers +3.5. My Clippers, they're my team. Yeah, we did like the Clippers in that spot. The Clippers are just, they are the best home team against the spread in the league. A very nice stat that I dug up in preparation for that game is that the Clippers are now 19-7 against the spread when their opponent is playing their first game in the Intuit Dome. You've seen a lot of players, Kevin Durant, comment on the Intuit Dome, the depth perception, all the weird lights, the wall. It's a thing, and now that I've been put myself on this angle, I'm gonna be playing into it. Like the Clippers, the yeah, great home team against the spread, awful road team against the spread. Cavs and Clippers match up in Cleveland in about a week and a half. I've got that game circled to back the Cavs. We'll see where the line ends up there. And then we lost on the under in that game. That game went way over the total. Saw some a late market push towards the under. We closed at 230.5. That game got as high as 233. That they finished at like 260 points or so. All right, enough on that. Let's have a look at today's slate. We've got 11 games on the slate. We've got 5 bets locked in. Few of them still playable, few of them aren't. Again, go follow me on Twitter. Tweet these out as soon as I play them. So this is not the first game that we'll be looking at. Let me just set ourselves up. We got the projections on screen. We got the odds up on screen as well. This is not the first game either. Almost there, and there we go. First game on the card is the Dallas Mavericks, the zombie Dallas Mavericks playing against the Indiana Pacers. Pacers coming off they're coming off a crazy victory against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where nobody expected them to win that game. Obi Toppin with a crazy game winner. Now we see them back home against the Mavs. No point in reading Dallas injury report. They just got everyone out. Halliburton and Siakam are questionable. Turner is not on the injury report. Neither is Aaron Naismith. Yeah, so we saw this spread open at Pacers -8.5. Saw the sharp books open at 9.5. Projections at Pacers -12.5. That accounts for a fully healthy Pacers team. I've made some adjustments to Dallas. Fully expected given the question marks around Halliburton and Siakam. Important thing here is we have seen movement towards the Pacers off that sharp number of 9.5. Pacers haven't been that great against the spread lately, going 3-7. We've seen the Dallas, we've seen that spread get locked. Very interesting. Maybe that was just my screen. So, looking at the spread, I do not have any action on the spread. I'd certainly lean the Pacers. Do not bet Dallas. They are like 1-9 against the spread, or 2-8 in the last 10. And yeah, as for the total though, we do see a massive edge towards the over in this matchup. So we saw the rec books open at 232.5. We saw the sharp books open at 234.5. Now this spread is this total is a little bit low. We know Halliburton here is an over player. We've seen Pacers totals drop by about 6-7 points when he gets ruled out of the lineup. Look, I've played an over 234. I got that down for 1 unit. Not a big play, but I do think this total is a little bit low. Dallas just do not have any bigs. They are 28th in defense since the All-Star break. If Halliburton and Siakam get ruled in, this total pops up to 238, maybe even 240. So that's what I've got down. Even if he gets ruled out, I do not see this total like getting any lower than 232. Let's move on. Yeah, we got lots of games to get through. Excuse me for pausing every now and then. I am keeping a close eye on the odds board, making sure I can get ahead of any action. There is one spot that I really like, but I haven't played yet. Next, we have the Rockets in Orlando. This spread opened at Rockets -2.5, both at the sharp books and at the rec books. We have seen a sharp move up to Rockets -3.5 at Circa. We see at Bet365 it is Rockets -3, which I'm not sure I agree with. I think this is a nice Magic spot. Magic are home. Projections at Rockets -2.3. Yeah, so we saw these teams play in Houston around a week ago. Rockets won by 13. We saw some late Magic steam in that market, closed at 3.5. Now moving back to Orlando. There doesn't seem to be much of a shift in the line despite home court. It's home court a thing. Amen Thompson's still out. Cole Anthony questionable. Fred is back. I think Fred was out that last game. Yeah, I don't have anything here on the spread. Not a great spot for the Magic here, even though I just said it's a nice Magic spot. No, it actually isn't. First game back off a long road trip. They're also coming off the best win of their season, beating the Cavs. I've had trouble clapping the Rockets. They're coming off two very uninspiring wins where they were down by over 10 points against both the Bulls and the Sixers, so nothing from me here on the spread. Looking at the total, we saw this total. Let's look at the previous game. Total opened at 213, closed at 210, so some sharp under movement in that market. The total of the previous game finished at 181. That's like one of the lowest totals. So damn low in this NBA. Today we saw the rec books open at 209.5. We saw the sharp books open at 211. Not much movement off that number. Projections at 208. I don't really want to play into this total or side, so let's move on. Next we have the Pistons and the Heat. This spread is just begging you to take the Pistons. It is just begging you to take the Pistons. Pistons, yeah, had a nice little bounce back yesterday. They beat the Miami Heat. No, they destroyed the Pelicans, sorry. Heat have lost 8 straight and 9 out of the last 10. Their last win was against the Wizards. Otherwise, they've lost the last 10 games. Heat coming off a loss in New York. I was very close to backing the Heat +7.5 that game. I'm glad I didn't because that bet looked nice for about a half, and then the Knicks end up winning by 20. Like, this team is just so hard to get a feel for. I don't think they're tanking. I could never say a Spo team is tanking. I just don't think they're very good. Pistons have done very well as road favorites, going 10-3 against the spread. This line, though, it just seems a little bit fishy. I've got this rated at Pistons -6, so not much of an edge here. I'm staying off it. I'm sure the public is going to be all over the Pistons. It'll be very telling if we see a move towards Miami. Total, though, is where I've got my money. And we have just seen some of the sharp books move this total up. So let's just refresh my odds screen. Again, go follow me at Twitter. I played the over 217. Played that for 3 units. Now we see total at 219.5. We see some sharp books getting up to 220. Look, projections, not much of an edge here, but the angle that I'm playing into is that the Pistons are the 3rd fastest team in their last 15 games. 3rd fastest team in pace. They are 5th in pace in 2025. So they've climbed up the pace rankings, now ranking 10th. I think they were more in that 15 to 20 range earlier in the season. This team is really speeding things up. They're playing well offensively. They've been catching a lot of oversteam lately, and Heat home games also over spot 19-13 to the over. I had a few things written up. I was about to say I still like the over at 217.5. Now seeing this at 219.5. Getting pretty pricey. With these low totals, every point matters. So I personally wouldn't play over 219.5. So I'm sorry. I hope you follow me on Twitter. Let's get over to the next game. Next, we have the Pelicans playing the Timberwolves. Pelicans just lost Trey Murphy for the season. You hate to see that. At least they'll get a better draft pick. I mean, they're still in the top 3 anyways. Wolves coming off a bad loss against the Pacers. We've just seen a lot of those games where a team sits out their star player and the team that sits their star player ends up winning outright and covering, even though they're heavy underdogs. Yeah, so look, do I want to lay 13 points or 12 and a half with the Timberwolves? Not really. Projections really like them at minus 17 and a half. Minnesota, like, they do have a really good net rating. They haven't been performing as well as their net rating would suggest. They have had some very confusing and questionable losses. That Pacers loss, just one of them. Yeah, coming up against a Pelicans team where, yep, they are in this position, losing their star player, getting a heavy number. Role players going to be a bit more locked in, but so generally that's a spot to back the Pelicans, but Trey Murphy did get injured in the first minute of that Pistons game, and the Pelicans completely folded. Pistons won by 30 or so. That game wasn't even close, so what I'm thinking at the moment is, yes, I do kind of like the Timberwolves, but I want to see some of the sharp books move towards a 13 and a half, 14. Maybe then I'll back the Wolves for like a unit. Happy to pay for that information because 13 points is a lot of points to lay. Let's move on. Yeah, total. I don't have much to say here. Trey Murphy, best offensive player for the Pelicans, so tough to get a read on there. There hasn't been much movement in the total either. Next, we got the Sixers and the Thunder. No need to read the Sixers injury report. No Maxey, no Embiid, no Paul George. We know it's the Quentin Grimes show. It's Grimes' sanity at the moment. Yabusele is questionable. Thunder sitting most of her team. Shea is resting. J-Dub is out. Gort is out. Mason Wallace is questionable. Hartenstein is questionable. Holmgren is in, Caruso is in. Look, so just throw the projections out the window. What we should be looking at is when the Thunder hosted the Blazers in this exact position where they sat out their entire team and they closed at around 3-point favorites against the Blazers. They ended up winning by about 20. It's funny, like they were 15-point favorites when that market opened, assuming they were fully healthy. As soon as that line closed at -2 when all of the starters get ruled out, they end up covering the original 15, assuming they were healthy. So look, enough of that. One more thing, an interesting angle is the Sixers, they don't want to win this game. Like they want that pick, they want to keep their top 7 pick, but that pick is owed to the Thunder. So in a way, the Thunder do have some incentive to lose this game and let the Sixers win. Now, that's not really an angle to play into. Ultimately, the Thunder, they're chasing that top seed in the NBA, getting that home court advantage all the way through the playoffs, so that's not worth playing. I'm backing the Thunder here. I picked up a Thunder -9, got that down for 2 units, so seeing the board at OKC -10. Love that. I still think -10 is playable. You have the excuse me. You have the Sixers coming off a bad loss to the Rockets. Oh, we've just seen Circa move this to -11. Love to see that. Let's refresh the odds board. We're seeing some line movement towards our tickets mid-show. Love to see that. You'll see a big smile on my face with that. And yep, we see Sixers Thunder -11. So again, go follow me on Twitter. -9 was available for about another hour or two after I posted it. -10's been there for a while. Now we see the whole board at -11. I don't think I would play that, but yeah, let's look at the total. Total opened at the rec books at 227.5. Opened at the sharp books around 230. We've seen the sharp books move under quite a bit, so we've seen under movement off the sharp number. Projections, yeah, throw that out the window. The Sixers totals have been catching over steam lately, but this looks like, over the last 5 games or so, this looks like a game that has finally broke that streak. So moving on, We have the Knicks and Spurs. Ugh. Like, this Spurs team is just like one of the most disgusting teams now. With no, with no Wemby, no De'Aaron Fox. Line opened at around 8.5 at the sharp books, rec books. No real movement here on the spread. I don't really have anything on the spread as well. Knicks have done pretty well without Brunson lately. They have been a team I've wanted to fade without Brunson. They killed us in that Warriors game. We were close to backing the Heat against them. Now, do I want to back the Spurs? No, not really. And like, I've adjusted the Spurs. I'm just looking at the ratings post All-Star break, which is no Wemby and mostly does include Fox, to be honest. So yeah, I got nothing on the spread. We see the projections love the over here. And this is one that I have been looking to play into. We saw the rec books open at 228.5. The sharp books open at 230.5. So we see Bet365 at 231. We see the sharp books at 230.5. I'm waiting for some of the sharp books to move that number. Maybe I'll play into it. I do have a tough time playing these Spurs overs when they don't have Fox and they don't have Wemby, like starting Chris Paul at point guard. You know how he is, like just pounds the rock. And yeah, so I've got nothing on this game. Yes, the projections like the over, but I'm not gonna blindly tail them. Next, oh god. Like, if you're watching this game, like, you are a sick individual. You need to go get some help if you're watching this game. Even if you're a fan of either of these teams, just a gross game. So we see, look, I've got nothing on this game. Not even going to read the injury report. This is just the Jazz are just despicable with the blatant tanking that they're doing. As for the total, we saw the rec books open at 237.5. We saw the sharp books open at 235.5. We've seen some sharp books move down to 234, so certainly looks like an underspot, but we also have two pace-up teams, two teams that don't play any defense, like bottom 5 defenses. I really just do not want to play into that, so nothing from me on this game. You got to be sick to watch that game. Another one that we're just going to keep very short and sweet because, Denver and Lakers look, Jokic and Murray are both questionable. Luka is probable. Aaron Gordon is probable. Obviously, like, just whatever you do, do not bet into this game right now or after you're watching this. Like, only bet into this game after you know if Jokic and Murray are in, or once you know the status of Jokic and Murray. Very simple. Like, I like the Lakers in this spot. I like the Lakers in this spot. Now, if Jokic and Murray get ruled in, I still like the Lakers in this spot. They'll be underdogs in that game. Like, give me that. And then if Jokic and Murray get ruled out, I still like the Lakers because they will destroy the Nuggets. Nuggets coming off a big win against the Warriors. Certainly going to be feeling good about themselves. They have played a lot of games. Some of the Lakers, to be honest. This will be the third game in 4 nights, and then they have another game against the Bucks tomorrow as well, playing 4 and 5. You don't see that often in today's NBA. That Lakers-Bucks game tomorrow is going to be very interesting to see where the market opens. As for this one, I've got nothing on this game. Maybe I'll take some Lakers, maybe I won't. Check out my Twitter for that. Next, we have the Zombie Bulls playing the Phoenix Suns. Where are you? Yep, so Bulls and Suns. We saw this game open at around 7.5. And we matched that up against the projections. We know the We know how well the Bulls have been playing lately. We know that the Suns are the third worst team against the spread. We picked up a Bulls plus 7.5. Got that down for 3 units, which is my favorite bet of the day. Bulls 11-4 against the spread in the last 15 games. They've been playing great basketball. They have kind of proven they've shut everyone up. Like, they're not tanking. Like, they want to make the play-in. They want to go into the play-in and then get beaten by the Magic or the Hawks. Like, that's just how this is going to end. It seems like the same old story with the Bulls, but they have been playing really well. Bradley Beal out. Josh Giddey, fellow Australian, he is questionable. Bulls are 6-3 against the spread when they are road underdogs against losing teams. Suns are a losing team. Suns 3-9-1 against the spread when home favourites against losing teams. Suns 5-17 against the East against the spread. Suns also 7-23 against the spread after a win. These are just some horrific numbers against the spread. How can you back this Suns team? Third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights. How can you lay 7 points with the Suns against a Bulls team that are playing really well? Like, yeah, sure, I favour the Suns to win this game, but not by 7. No way in hell. So we got Bulls plus 7.5. Got that down for 3 units. Now seeing the whole board at 6.5. Love to see that. Bulls 6.5 is still worth a play in my opinion. I would play that for 1 unit. Total, saw the rec books open at 236.5. We seen the sharp books open at 235.5. We now see most of the board moving down to 234.5. This was an over spot that I was looking into, given the projections, but now seeing the market move down, I'm not going to play into this over. Yeah, the Suns, they are 10-14 to the over against top 10 pace teams. That's something I don't like. Bulls, surprisingly, an under team, despite the fact they are top 3 in pace and top 3 in 3-point frequency. I had written up that I was going to wait on the market. On this one, the market has spoken. I'm not playing into this. Instead, go grab the Bulls plus 6.5. Grizzlies in Portland. Ja Morant is out. We saw the rec books open at 2. Oh, sorry, they opened this spread at Blazers plus 6.5. I'm pissed off I missed out on that. Like, that spread was available even after Ja Morant got ruled out, and like, I don't even like this Grizzlies team against the spread. No, sorry, I don't think Ja impacts the spread that much for this Grizzlies team. Like, they play great basketball without him, but yeah, I mean, projections like this is Grizzlies minus 2.5, so seeing 4.5, still a slight edge there, but I definitely would have played 6.5. I'm pissed off I missed that. We saw the total open at 238.5. When did it open at the sharp books? It opened at 235.5 at the sharp books. Now 235.5. Projected total at 238.5. Yeah, look, I've got nothing on this game. If you're holding a Blazers plus 6.5, congratulations. That is a great bet, but I am not holding that. So let's move on. So this is the other game that I mentioned that just seems so damn fishy. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers in Sacramento playing the Kings. If you're wondering why my eyes keep darting that way, it's because I keep checking this Cavs spread and just checking for line movement, because I'm this close to laying 3 units on the Cavs, but I just want to see a bit of movement towards the Cavs. We've only saw a slight bit of movement where bookmaker has moved to Cavs -5 at -115, $1.86. That's the only movement on the board towards the Cavs. Otherwise, everywhere is still at 5, and I just don't get it. Look, I get it's a back-to-back. Spider might sit out. yeah, Mobley might sit out, but I've said this a few times on this show that the Cavs are a team that I want to back when they're sitting their star players out because they're so damn deep. They have guys who can fill in left, right, and center, and you'll be getting a better number on them when they sit the players out. So, and this is a prime bounce back spot for the Cavs. Even though, yes, sure, you could have said that when they played the Clippers, but hey, we're on the Clippers. We like them in that spot. But now playing the Kings, who just have a non-existent defense, they just won't be able to stop the Cavs. Sabonis is out. Bit of a shit vibe around the Kings as well. They just brought Sabonis back way too early. Now he's out again. They've been losing. They've been struggling. Even though they're coming off a nice win against the Grizzlies, I really want to back the Cavs here. Just waiting on a tiny bit of movement towards them. Obviously, projections like this at minus 8.7 to Cleveland. One angle that I have played though is that I've played the over. I picked up an over 234.5. I think that number is still available as well. It's at FanDuel if you're in America, Sportsbet if you're in Australia. Let me see if that is still available. And no, it is not. It's at 235.5 at Sportsbet, FanDuel. I saw most of the board moving to 236. So FanDuel, Sportsbet, they're owned by the same company. They were laying at 234.5. So I was like, yep, projections like the over. Sign me up. Didn't really look into it too much. Yeah, but as for the spread, the Cavs 9-3 against the spread as away favorites against winning teams. Kings 0-5 against the spread this season as home dogs. So certainly, I'm looking very, very hard at the Cavs. You might see me tweet out Cavs -5. I can even see a 4.5 as well for like -113, which is probably the better move than -5 at $1.90, -110. So yeah, we've also seen another sharp book move up to 235.5 on the total. So yeah, as for 235.5, go ahead and play it. For 1 unit, definitely I got that down for 2 units, 234.5. And I think that's every game. I think it's all of them, all 11. I thought we got through that in a reasonable amount of time. So no, we're not looking at our best at our recap, even though it was a great night last night. Great night last night. These are our best bets for the day, and a few of them have moved into positions where I would no longer play them. Dallas at Pacers, I believe 234 is still available at Bet365. That is something that I would play into. I've only got a small bet on it, not a huge amount of action. Obviously, there is a bit of injury risk there with Halliburton and Siakam. Pistons, Miami, over 217. Got that down for 3 units. Now seeing 219.5s pop up on the board. Circa is at 219.5. Love to see that. Pistons, 5th fastest team since 2025 has started. Sorry, not playable anymore. We also see picked up OKC -9. Now see Circa at -11. See most of the board at -11. Not worth playing into there. Picked up a Bulls +7.5 at Phoenix. Got that down for 3 units. Now it's 6.5. I'd play that for 1 unit. Lastly, we've got the Cavs and Kings over 234.5. Got that down for 2 units. Now at 235.5. I would still go and play that for 1 unit. So all 4 out of our 5 tickets are plus CLV at the moment. In fact, if you're measuring against Circa, all 5 of them are plus CLV tickets. So that's what you love to see. Last 2 days have been good days, but we have not had plus CLV tickets. So in the long run, that's what you're aiming for. Again, looking very hard at Cavs -5. Sorry if my eyes have just been darting around a bit too much, but I'm just keeping such a close eye on that. If I see any movement, I'm taking the Cavs -5 for between 2 to 3 units. We'll see where that lands. Until next time, let's get them box salty.